Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video we have a very special guest with us today. Valleyflyin, say hello to the channel.
What is up, Boilon Maniacs? How are you?
Yeah, I don't know if that's our name or not, but yeah, we I don't even know if we have it.
Can we make it a thing? Can we make it a thing?
We can do it for us,
okay.
And then I'll have to think about. I really need to work on that. And also, happy Thanksgiving, Valley, because I know I'm not having it, but you know you are. So
yes, eating a lot of turkey. I hope you're eating a lot today, even if you're not celebrating Thanksgiving.
I might get some pizza. We'll see.
Okay. Hey, you guys had it last week or last month, right?
Yeah. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the upcoming predictions for patch 6.6, which I think really is just around the corner. I think we're probably, I think about a week out from it at this point, or maybe less than that, depending on when you're watching this video. And we need to talk about some character releases, some things that are going to be coming in December as well, December and January, because we know they like to take their time off. So we need to talk about what's coming down the pipeline, I think, for Marvel Strike Force.
Non-communication from the devs is what's going to happen.
Get ready. Hold on to your pants.
Kind of like this week.
Yes, exactly. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, and we're back with Dark Beast on the cover. Now, depending on when you're watching this, I mean, who knows? He may already be out because, you know, I've been waiting for him to come out. I've been waiting a reason, an excuse to open his core orb so that I can double dip for this Spy Games event that's ongoing as we speak. But yeah, I mean, he is going to be the last character of this patch, which is why I think that, you know, it's literally it must be around the corner.
Yeah.
And I guess the disappointing thing is because we're having to talk about this because we haven't had a silhouette in like ages, right? And because normally that allows us to talk about like kind of get a better idea of we could narrow down the listings a little bit as far as the characters.
It was exciting.
And there's none of that lately. So I don't know what happened with that.
It takes work. It takes work. They try to do as little work as possible. So, you know, someone to do those graphics, yeah, that's too much work for them. It's too much excitement. It's too much excitement for the community.
Right, and that's a little bit disappointing that we've not had some of these things available. And so now we're sitting here guessing what might come because I guess that's what we did before. But the silhouettes were kind of exciting because then we kind of like could narrow down who was going to come, and that made it a little bit easier for us. And I think with 2 months of characters, honestly, the sky's the limit.
Oh my goodness!
That case. You know, I think we know obviously that there's going to be 2 characters coming for. We know. Archangel's coming, and then 1 more for Death Seed, and then outside of that, I would say there's at least 3 or 4 more characters up for grabs over the course of the 2 months. So there's lots of stuff that could be coming in the pipeline.
Yeah, it could be anybody. I wasn't expecting Web Warriors. I wasn't expecting T'Challa and a Ravager rework and Magic and all that last year. That was kind of out of left field. So
yeah, and we'll take a look at some of
something like that.
Yeah. So Dark Beast, December month long. Is that what we've I think a lot of people are suggesting that because at this point.
That's what it seems like from the data mines, that it's going to be the month-long character next month. So,
and what's really interesting, we're recording this on a Wednesday, which then suggests that, you know, the patch could be next Wednesday on November the 30th, which means that also that on that day, there's going to be another character released on the patch. There's always a character in the offers as soon as the patch comes up, which means it's obviously not going to be Archangel. Now, is that going to be the 5th Death Seed character? Maybe. And who do you think? Like, what's your impressions that you've got in your community or that you've been hearing in the wind?
I've been hearing all kinds of guesses, all kind of mutants, all kind of non-mutants, everybody. But I did a video with Goofy a while back. My guess was Daken, Wolverine's son, and the reason for that is we got Dark Beast in here. So we got a second Beast. Let's get a second Wolverine in the game, because you know how much they like to just duplicate character models. We got another Wolverine character model in there. Let's just put in another Wolverine. So I'm thinking Daken, and that might be kind of fun. I think a lot of people want Nightcrawler, but I don't know
if he's coming anymore. I'm not putting my bet on Nightcrawler personally at this point.
No, I think what Goofy said from the Envoy call is it's something that it's someone that nobody's predicting. So that's where I went with Daken, someone way out of left field like that.
I think, yeah, I would actually really like to see him, as long as his kit and animations is not too like, you know, Wolverine or X-23, I guess. But I do like the character, and I guess it makes you wonder, is he going to be a villain character then? Because a lot of the Death Seed characters, with the exception of Psylocke, are all villain tagged. So, well, actually, we haven't seen Archangel yet, but I'm presuming he is a villain tag. Or
yeah,
not.
I mean, this is a villain. Magneto's a villain.
Yeah.
Psylocke is a hero, but all right, do you have a prediction? Because
well, there was a rumor of like Exodus, and so for people who don't know who Exodus is, he is a pretty big bad guy in the mutant universe, villain for sure, and I think he's almost too powerful to be on this team. Personally, like I would see him being the leader of a team, not Archangel. I mean, because Exodus is just so powerful. So I think you need a character that's maybe less powerful than Archangel, but can still be on a team as a sort of a lackey, so to speak. You know, that he's not the main character, right? And so, honestly, I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be a villain character, because we need more villains in this game.
I got two more predictions, and these are from Goofy. Captain Britain. And either version, the Brian Braddock version or the Betsy Braddock version, because Excalibur was rumored for a while, right? And
that would be that's interesting.
Yeah, and we already have a Psylocke in the game, so we could have a different version of Psylocke, or we could have the real Captain Britain, or the real one to me, the brother Brian Braddock, and it could be one of those characters as well. So those are also likely in my head.
That's interesting.
Credit Goofy for those guesses.
Brian's not a mutant, so I would be more inclined to think Captain Britain Betsy, because she is a mutant, and because we're keeping in with the theme of mutant. Now, this doesn't, who knows, right? Scopely could just do a 180 and just take a character and give them whatever origin they want, because just say, I mean,
Strife's not a marauder, so they could do whatever the heck they want.
Right. So I actually think that you're probably right, that the character is going to be something that we didn't think about, because they do these kind of things very often, where they'll add a character into a team that's not necessarily affiliated with the team, but are loosely related in some way.
Yeah.
Like they do that all the time. So I could definitely see this, that people are like, oh my god, didn't think of that coming.
Or a character like Swarm that nobody would have thought of for Sinister Six.
I had no idea who he even was when he came out.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I never heard of that before.
So secondly, I want to talk about not this. This is my Scourge infographic. Oops. Well, actually, we can talk about this really quickly. So, what was really interesting and why I brought this up and why I had this up originally is because when we had the Scourge events, there were actually characters within the Scourge event. So, for example, you could use Darkhold within Pestilence's event in the villains lane and in the global lane. When Famine came out or with Rogue came out, you could use her and her team in the mutant lane. So you've been able to use all of these Scourge and their characters and their teams within their own event. And so with Death, we have the and I haven't updated it yet, but we have obviously the non-mutant legendary lane, and then we have the legendary lane for Archangel as well. And so I'm wondering if that's just it. And I know that we've spoken more about minions on your video that we're gonna link down below. But you know, it just makes me wonder whether or not there's gonna be a character coming this patch that is actually a new minion. And I guess we'll find out pretty soon. And that's been giving all the rage in the community about, you know, the minions. It's honestly all people are talking about these days is about minions, right? And I feel like I have to do something a little bit different because even I've done some of that, and we just kind of need to move on, at least until we know more, right? Because it's been all that people have been thinking about. So will we get a new minion character for this patch?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope they they add some tags to some characters or something, because who started playing Marvel Strike Force to play with minions?
Exactly. I mean, it's just that, and it's not going to feel good. I think they've just added it in as like a sort of an extra requirement for us to get through Death, because I guess it's been a little bit easy up until now. So, I mean, you can see on the infographic, if you can read it anyways, all of the different lanes that we've had. And I would say, by and large, it wasn't super challenging. I think the most restrictive that we've had actually might have been Cosmic Mystic on Famine, or Skill, maybe, because there's not a lot of good skill characters in War. So it's not usually that restrictive. Usually it's pretty open to some degree. And so I think minions is like the most restrictive requirement beyond the 5-10, nodes 5 and 10 that we've ever seen.
Suck. And there's no use out for them after that.
So I don't know what they were thinking, but I hope that there's a plan. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that there's a plan. If not, then when the patch goes live and there's no reworks, we can raise our pitchforks again. Because I feel that that's what I'm waiting for. Is like there has to be something. That's what I'm thinking. But if there's not, my pitchforks are going to come out.
Oh, that's you're using logic. Yeah. They're using a different kind of logic. You're using a logic of fun. They're using a logic of what's going to make us the most money and create the most FOMO.
I wouldn't say fun necessarily. I'm just thinking that there must be a reason behind it, and that they've gone the other way around. Because normally, what most companies would do would be like, "Hey, by the way, they'd announce that the minion requirement, and then they say, oh, by the way, we have some characters down the line. Don't worry about it." On the other hand, we are worrying about it. It's just this is all that's going on. So I hope that there's something down the line. Otherwise,
I hope so. I hope so as well.
Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of complaints. More going forward. So
more
here. This is the way I've been looking through like the Phase 4, Phase 5 MCU wiki stuff, and the reason why is because I'm just kind of wondering whether or not this is going to help us understand what kind of characters may or may not come out at all in the next 2 months. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. We have that Drax skin in game, so I'm not sure. There was a former rumor that we were going to get a Guardians rework, but honestly, with the movie, I think, coming in May, that's probably what they're going to wait for on this one.
I think that's a more likely time frame for that to happen.
We tend to get, not all the time, but we often get skins for TV-related tie-ins. Movies tend to get more characters. Not always the case, but, that's what I've noticed a little bit more, is that often there's, like, skins and stuff, like the Moon Knight skin and some of these, the She-Hulk skin. Not an actual character, but...
Although, What If? You mentioned What If Season 2 is coming up.
We're going to get there.
We got a bunch of characters from What If, the Doctor Strange. We got the zombie Iron Man. We got the T'Challa from there, so...
So this is 2023 for the TV series, and I think we will have What If Season 2. It does say early 2023, but there was suggestion it's in the first quarter, which would be January, February, or March. And What If was very popular. We did get T'Challa Star-Lord last... It was towards the end of the patch, I think, towards the end of the winter patch, so it was like closer to February. But what if we get... what if we get another character? Now, I don't know if it's necessarily related to minions or not, but they did tease the first episode, I believe, in the season, and it says, what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? So a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, if you haven't seen the show up till now. But it's all about Captain Carter and whether or not that version of Steve Rogers is dead. Discovered he's alive as the villainous Hydra Stomper. Are we getting Captain Carter?
I'd like Peggy in the game. Hydra Stomper or whatever, but Peggy in the game would be cool.
That's like, I think, the Hydra robot that Steve Rogers was in the first season.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't care if it's in the game.
Minion?
Peggy would be cool.
The Steve Rogers Hydra Stomper minion coming to...
Oh, if he's in there. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
If that's a minion. All right.
It would be a weird minion because it would be Steve Rogers as the Hydra Stomper. But it's non-super soldier serum Steve Rogers, so right, and so that's why he's weak, and so he is a minion in some ways.
Just a normal dude. All right.
The next one is Secret Invasion. So this is going to be the Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, with some other characters, including Talos. He's the leader of the Skrulls. And then we get some reappearances of Maria Hill. Actually, what's really exciting, and I know this probably isn't super related to the video, but we are getting Abigail Brand. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a mutant.
No.
Played by Emilia Clarke, of course, who's a really great actress.
Oh, Daenerys.
Yeah, I know. There's some really good people in this one. So I didn't even look at this before. I was like, oh, I didn't know they were in it. So this actually makes me really excited for this show.
Nice.
And so would we get Skrull minions, or would we get Super Skrull? Now, I know that I don't think Super Skrull's in the show, but maybe they might just do some sort of, loosely related sort of set of characters, with this in mind.
They just announced Super Skrull in Marvel Snap yesterday, or 2 days ago from the release of this video. So
on one hand,
maybe there's something going on with Super Skrull that
maybe there'll be a Skrull
that Marvel games are trying to pull.
Maybe that's all we're getting in the second half. Just before Archangel, we'll get a Super Skrull with some Skrull minions. I don't know. Maybe they're actually going to release a minion team for the first time in Marvel Strike Force history.
I think they have Talos already done. If we look at that art book from 2 years ago, they have Talos in that game, and it looks like he was scrapped. But they don't throw them away. They still have all that character models and all that stuff that they did. So the Talos is a good bet coming in 2023.
But it just makes me wonder, like, what would have to happen for you to be interested in a minion character? Like who would it have to be for you to build it, to like to build it, not to just do it out of because it's Archangel? Nobody. Sentinels?
Nobody. I'll build them for the game, but yeah, it's not fun. I don't want to play with minions. What the heck?
What if they're
Those
like
filler characters?
What if they're super OP and they can, like, I don't know, beat Darkhold?
I mean, I'll build them, but still, your question was which would I want to play with? Would be fun? None of them would be fun.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, like, I think if Skrulls came to the game, I'd be a little bit more excited than the current characters. If we had Sentinels, I think I'd be a little bit more excited than the current minions.
Sentinels are cool minions. Sentinels would be cool minions. But yeah, I take that back. I take back what I said. Sentinels would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm both scared and excited for the patch. Like, I'm really scared that we're not going to get anything for the Death Scourge, and that they're just going to be like, okay, just do with what you have right now. And that kind of is scary. On the other hand, I'm also scared that we're going to get something we don't want that they're going to try and sell us. So it's really double-edged for me here. And here we are at Cosmic Crucible, because this is something that I wanted to talk about in this video. And thankfully, I won my trial too. So hey, go me.
Humble brag there. Yeah. Congratulations.
I won by a fair margin this time, so thank you, Airhorn. This is my second victory. I'm probably not going to do so well on Trial 3. I don't know about you, but sometimes actually I forget until like just a couple hours before to do my attacks, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot to do it. Because sometimes that happens, because when you have War and Crucible on the same day, it's like, oh god, you know, I feel like really pressed for time sometimes.
That's what I stream for. That's what I stream in the mornings. But you know, this morning I didn't have time, so I missed some of my attacks, so I lost it.
But why we're in here is because I want to talk about your thoughts on this season's Age of X and how we're going to lead into next season. So let's start by talking about what your experience is with Age of X. Are you tired of Age of X? Are you done?
I kind of am, because I like my Dormammu, and I'm a player that focuses more on full clears and offense rather than winning and defense. So yeah, this was a rough season. All that resistance from the mutants, all those mutants that are killing the revive onces and screwing up my previous counters that I had. This was a tough season for me.
It's crazy, really, and I think really where for me it is, anyways, is the 500% resistance, because you know, even when you're like using unlimited X-Men against unlimited X-Men, I can have issues like landing Dazzler's debuffs, Gambit's ability block on his special, because I'm hitting into the same team, but they're 500% resistance that I don't have. Actually, well, I guess I have it too, but I mean, they have it, so I can't land my debuffs. And
they're getting so more annoying. Resistance. You're not getting the focus to match it.
Right. And so I think that, you know, it's fine for like Rogue, but any other character, I just struggle, you know, trying to land any debuffs on hero mutants. And it can be like stupid old teams like Uncanny X-Men or Astonishing X-Men. I still can't land
the X-Men were tough for a while until I figured out a decent combo. Weapon X beats them pretty good, but the X-Men were tough, man. Yeah,
I actually wiped to X-Men in the first couple of weeks because I would use stuff that I would like use in War, but that just did not work in Crucible because of the boss. It's just crazy.
Or Infinity Watch, Secret Avengers. They used to smash them in War, and the old Crucible, and like, wait, they didn't win. How did I lose that matchup? And so better to make some adjustments.
So in this Crucible season, we had a global buff that impacted broadly hero mutants, but I think it was also aimed towards Unlimited X-Men because they were newer at the time. And then we had the Spider Mania room, which I think was a direct call out for the Tangled Web team this season because they came
out. Tangled Web, guys.
It was pretty much. And I was gonna say Mr. Negative, but it's funny because they gave him and Kingpin the Spider-Verse tag. So I don't know if that was actually somewhat side intended for Crucible because with this room as well, but I didn't really see them as much, Kingpin or Mr. Negative, because he was a paid character largely.
I think it was their release method of the non-release method of Mr. Negative until we get the those bonus shards in the web store. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't really see those two characters though in Spider-Mania. It was mostly just Tangled Web for me, but.
Yeah, seeing Tangled Web and Dad Bros. I'm seeing Tangled Web and the Zombie Iron Man and Hela now. So just some crazy combos. And that one right there.
Which one?
That you're talking about. That combo that you talked about, that you told
Oh
me
yeah,
about,
yeah,
that's
that's
just crazy.
Yeah.
The Tangled Web and Kestrel and the.
This did really well for me.
Horrible.
Actually,
that sounds horrible.
time.
That sounds horrible.
It is
dude.
horrible, and it did really well for Actually, just really quickly because we might have time. I want to kind of show my results for the defense on this one while we're here. And so there was 3 attacks. They didn't even clear it. They started with, now I don't know what this was necessarily. Maybe just an attempt to blow cooldowns. And then this second one here, we had
that was a real attempt.
Full gamma team. That was a real attempt.
Damage.
1 million. They maybe hit Dormammu a little bit. And then the third time they went in with Infinity Watch.
They got Kestrel.
And that's it. And so they wiped.
That's gamma. That's gamma that, oh my god.
Gamma and Infinity Watch. Crazy. So this did really well for me. Now, I don't know how many times this is going to do well for me. Obviously, it takes Dormammu out, though, and I can't use him on offense. But, hey, I won, so that's all that matters, right? And
yes.
So really what I want to get to is, what do you think might happen for next season? And what global buffs you might expect or we'll expect, and some rooms that might be dedicated to a new team. Because I think that's really the point, is that I think that for them to sell well, that they need to have a dedicated room to some degree that they can be used in, because it'll make them more valuable, I think, for that season. So I think that a new team or a rework team for Crucible would be coming.
And I think that's a very likely scenario, kind of like they did with the Tangled Web, dedicating a room to at least whatever the new team is. It's probably not even announced yet. It's probably not. It's probably going to be in the next patch, but there'll probably be a full room to them, and then the global bonuses.
So that needs to be a bit more characters, possibly. So
I think maybe to our global characters, because the Wakandans come to mind of all the times they tried to get these characters relevant. They're supposed to be the premier Ray team. That never really happened. They're supposed to be a Crucible team, and then they were counted very easily by the Young Avengers. Now they got the War Dogs trying to be on War, so maybe, like, all right, let's have the Wakandans actually hit their mark in Crucible and make them useful. So that's where I think the devs are going, just kind of based on what they've done in the past, or like they hit us with just some randomness, like, oh, where did this come from? I wasn't expecting this. So.
Yeah. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, and I don't even know if I'm going to be right, but I'm going to say a global buff for villain characters. Because we're getting Death Seed. Now, I know they're not a Crucible team, but I mean, more broadly, we've seen a couple of villain characters more, and I think that we might get some more as well this patch, and it might just give a blanket buff to villain characters to make them a little bit more viable. Actually, you know what? I heard in the sky somewhere about rumors of more Sinister Six characters, so I don't know, that could buff them as well.
That would be good.
And, villains really don't get a lot of love sometimes in this game. There's actually way more heroes than there are villains in this game, because a lot of the villains are minions, so there's actually not a lot of marquee sort of villain characters as much in this game. And
well, Sinister Six would be nice, Kraven, Sandman,
I love
Scorpion,
Kraven.
all these Spider-Verse villains.
They're in Marvel Snap. Nice. I know. I'm just thinking about that as you say it. I'm like, are these Marvel Snap characters? They sure are. Their cards.
Yes,
there.
They are. I use those cards a lot.
And every time I think about Marvel Strike Force and characters we don't have, I'm like, are they in Snap? Maybe they should be in Marvel Strike Force. That's like how I'm thinking
Cosmo
these days.
the Wonder Dog.
And so this is you might not be able to see this very well, but this is my character chart. This is like, I have all of the posts from all the patches and all the characters. So I wanted to go back to this time last year, or the winter patch anyways, when we had Magic. She was the first one. Ghost Spider, Scarlet Spider, Spider-Punk, and T'Challa. So that was 5 characters then, and we thought that was a lot of characters back then, I think. But now they're pushing more. And
it was a 2-month patch, so we knew it would be a while.
We didn't have the month-long events. Now we have those.
Larger than normal.
So we might have like 6. I would be shocked with 7, but I wouldn't put it past them, because now we have the January, and honestly, they could put the February month-long character within the winter patch as well. Like the way that they did with Dark Beast, or some of they tend to release these month-long characters, but they're towards the end of the cycle, so
Black Panther 1mm, he was towards the end of the last patch. It's I don't know, maybe.
Anyway. So anyway, it doesn't really matter.
I'm remembering that wrong.
So we had the Web Warriors. This was one team, and then we had Magic. That was the rework of a slight rework, I guess, of Uncanny X-Men there. And then the Ravagers rework. So we had kind of like 3 things going, which means I kind of expect 4 things to happen this winter patch, of which we only know 1.
Well, if you think about all the reworks for that, there's 4 characters that got reworked with magic, so that's 4 to build up. 4 characters that got reworked with T'Challa, so that's 4 more, True. So 8 total, and then 2 Miles and Spider-Man, so that's 10 characters that got reworked that we had to build for this patch. I'm expecting a lot of reworks. So maybe there is something to this minion rework
So if we take this, which was quite a bit of characters, and we might suggest that this winter we're going to get more because they're pushing more characters at us, that we could be looking somewhere in the realm of like 20 characters, let's hypothetically, where that might be involved in something, right? Like that's a lot when you really think about it. And where's all the resources coming from? That's the other thing, but
that's why I thought they were so smart last year. They only released what these characters here, but we had to rework. We had to build up 10 extra characters in addition to these. Yeah. During that time, they were away. So there wasn't a lot that they needed to do, but we needed to build up and use our resources on all these characters if we wanted these teams to function. I'm thinking that's like the easiest thing for them to do. So that's the likeliest thing that we're going to see this year as well.
So if you look at, maybe you can't see it, but Magic was released on December the 8th. Ghost Spider was released on the 18th. Scarlet Spider was on the 29th. And so for me personally, I expect Archangel's event to be like the first week of January. So, which kind of puts him into Spider-Punk's spot. Oh, which I don't think that they want to release him while they're on holidays. That's why I think they might wait until the event until after they come back. Because if they release this like during Christmas and it's bugged and there's issues, there's going to be all sorts of problems. So I think that they should release this when they come back in January.
They should.
In my opinion,
I'm thinking maybe before Christmas happens, so very early in the patch, because like you said earlier, we're at the beginning of the patch, we're probably going to get one character. That's probably going to be the final Death Seed character.
Yeah.
Then the Archangel event happens. Then they go away. That's what I'm thinking in my mind here.
That could happen, and honestly, probably should in terms of the order of the release, with Dark Beast being at the end of this patch. But then it makes me wonder. Well, then if you're right, then where are the minions? There's no new minions, and there's no, because there's no time to release.
There's no minion to rework. There's no minion to rework.
There's no space to release new characters, right? For that Scourge.
Scourge hard for us. That's it. It's just no minion to rework.
Okay, then let's talk about that very quickly. So if there is no other releases before Archangel, because this is all just Death Seed all the way up to Archangel, then what happens with the minions? Are we using existing minions, or we're getting a rework to an existing team that's already like Shield that's already out? I don't know, and they're just getting like a hyper rework. Like I don't know what it makes me wonder what their plan is, and I guess
I hope it has something to do with MODOK and AIM or something.
But then MODOK's not coming back.
Full team getting reworked.
But then MODOK won't be out before it isn't, and it won't matter because he's not a minion, right? So he's not going to be. They
rework the minions, and then later on we get or something.
I think we talk about this a little bit more on your channel
to make it less painful. This is such a painful scourge that I'm like.
I think we're going to dive into that a little bit more on your channel about the minion characters, but everything doesn't look good. The timeline seems a bit possibly wonky, and because we're thinking about how this kind of works into the Death Scourge event. And I think that's what we care about the most is like, I'm looking forward to new characters just like everyone else, but I think I'm too busy concerned about how we're going to get through the next couple of weeks or month up until Archangel's event. And I think that's what everyone's worried about.
Yeah, just hopefully you're saving your resources for these minions and get through this event, and
So
now, do you have any predictions for what team or what mode at least that the new characters in the 2-month long patch will be?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have anything written down here in my patch 6.6 session, but definitely because we already know 2 characters, right? We know Archangel and Death Seed number 5. I think we're definitely getting a Crucible team. Whether it's a rework or a new team, it's definitely they kind of do this like every other patch. It seems that they're doing Crucible characters because they did Tangled Web, not this patch, but the patch before, which means they could open up to that in 6.6. And I believe actually Unlimited X-Men were 2 patches before Tangled Web, so every 2 patches for a Tangled Web.
All right, so we got a Horseman, then a Crucible, Horseman, Crucible. So this is gonna be the Horseman and Crucible
because they just pushed War. I think we're due for a War defense team.
No more War defense teams.
I think we're due for War defense.
More offense teams.
We don't like War defense, but I think they're going to give it to us anyways.
You're probably right, but I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong on that.
And fingers crossed, maybe some minion stuff. So minion stuff.
Maybe it's an easy team.
Maybe it's a minion war defense team.
Ugh.
Maybe you combine the
Hydra
worst of
4.0 or something like that.
I don't know, but I mean, we're really just rounding the bend here because it's really just going to be less than a week from now. I think that it's going to be the patch. Hopefully, we have some more information, and hopefully, we have some more information from you guys, the envoys. Maybe you'll get some special info to share with us before the patch.
Something we could actually share. Yes, hopefully, something we could share.
So I think we're going to end the video there. We've talked about some of the stuff that's going to be coming in patch 6.6. So honestly, sometimes I forget the numbers because we keep going with the patch numbers and I keep forgetting which one's which. But yes, it is, I think, 6.6.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Valleyflyin, for coming on to the Boilon channel to talk about this madness, because honestly, since the blog post, it has been nothing but madness here on Marvel Strike Force, I think. And it's been crazy for all of us. So hopefully we get some good news soon.
Yeah, and we're gonna go, guys. We're gonna go continue this conversation. We're gonna talk about the minions, what you could do to navigate this minion mess right now, the Nakia event right now, and what you should be hoarding.
Yeah, so we have all that and more on Valleyflyin's channel and video. Links will be in the description down below, so definitely do check that out. Give him a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't already, of course. And I want to thank everyone who came to my channel in my video today. And yes, we'll see what the rest of the week and the rest of the end of this patch has in store for us, because there's no blog on Friday, just to remind people, depending on when you're watching this. So don't expect that either. But we have still more to talk about in Strike Force in the coming days. So thank you everyone for coming by. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, especially on this Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving week.
Woo!
And I'll see you all later. Boilon's
Valley,
signing out.